Hello everyone, welcome back. So a few days ago I said I would talk about Angelica. Now, Angelica is one of those oils that, sometimes I just read up on something or, my emotions are such that I need, a certain kind of oil. And then I'm swayed to buying something. And then I sometimes end up, just putting it on the shelf and continuing on with my most regular oils and sort of forgetting about it. So I'm always happy when I go back on my shelf and kind of go through the oils that I have, and I find such an oil as Angelica. And I was so pleased when I started reading up on it that it does help with rheumatoid arthritis. I have to admit that my pain has been very controlled lately, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with sulfurzyme. But when there is a flare-up, I'm always glad to have certain oils on hand that I can use to help with the flare-up. So what I did is I started diffusing it and using it with other oils, but I also read in the desk reference about Angelica. And I love the fact, I love reading a little bit about the history of every oil, and I realized that in the medieval ages, so especially in the 1600s, or I should say like around 1660, when especially London was caught up in the big bubonic plague, stems of Angelica were chewed to prevent infection. And when burned, so the seeds and the roots were thought to purify the air. I think people of the time didn't really know how to ward off the infection. The rats were carrying the disease, and then the fleas were, infecting the humans and so on. And, it was very hard to stay away from it. I mean, most people just fled, not most people, the more rich people would, go away from the city. So they would go, elsewhere in Europe where the plague was not as prevalent. But the peasants mostly had to stay home and were, caught with dealing with the plague. So it's always interesting to learn about these plants that were used as a natural remedy to prevent or to treat certain diseases. But as for its fragrant influence, and the reason I think why I bought it in the first place, it does assist in the release of pent-up negative feelings and restores memories to the point of origin before trauma or anger was experienced. As I think a lot of lately, it's been up and down emotionally for me. Angelica will help, and I have started diffusing it, and I think it smells lovely. It smells for some reason it reminds me of my grandmother's house, so there must be some woodsy scent to it. Actually, I should have a look at exactly the root of it, but in any case, I do hope you've enjoyed this little talk on Angelica, and tomorrow I shall be back with another special edition.